Yes. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the final hearing for the Golfview Ditch Petition Drainage Improvement Project. At this time, if I could ask all those who plan on providing testimony, whether you're joining us virtually or in person, to please rise and raise your right hand. If you are joining us virtually, if you could please put your camera on and do so. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give today is true to the best of your knowledge? If so, say I do. Thank you very much. And at this time, I'll turn it over to County Engineer Robertson for opening remarks.
Hello, Commissioners.
Long time no see.
Happy Infrastructure Day. Yes, indeed.
Can I say that?
Always a happy Infrastructure Day. My name is Cornell Robertson. I'm honored to serve as Franklin County Engineer and Franklin County Drainage Engineer. This ditch petition is in the western part of the county in Brown Township, southwest of Fetter Road and Cole Road intersection, which is west of Thorn Apple Country Club, and is known as the Golfview Drainage Improvement Petition. 2 years and 18 days ago, Greg Richards filed the petition to begin this process. Today we are in the final hearing, where I report on the final design, the cost-benefit analysis, and provide my recommendation as the county engineer. In summary, the benefits of this petition project do not outweigh the costs calculated for the individual property owners. Therefore, I recommend that this petition be dismissed by your board, that the project does not advance to construction, and that the property owners are not assessed for any costs. It's my understanding that we need to go into the report in a little bit further detail than that, and so I would invite Abby Obert to the podium to go through a brief presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Engineer, for your testimony. Abby?
Good morning, Commissioners. As Engineer Robertson stated, we will be going through this presentation, just providing testimony from our office about this project. So we can get started. So again, we are at the final hearing today. The petition was filed in March of 2021. The view was held in May 21, and the first hearing was held in June of 2021. Now, at that first hearing, the board decided to continue on with the petition. So since June of 2021, we have gone through and prepared the construction plans for this project, as well as calculated a construction estimate for the project, as well as the assessment schedule. So we'll just be going through what we have determined so far and then our recommendations. So at this final hearing, as you may remember from back in December, you'll hear all the information, plans, and reports submitted by the county engineer. Any affected landowners are welcome and encouraged to offer testimony for this project. And then you will decide to either approve the proposed improvement petition, including the plans and schedule of assessments, or dismiss the petition altogether. And this will be based on 3 factors. These are specified in the Ohio Revised Code. Is this project necessary? Is it conducive to public welfare? And do the benefits outweigh the cost? So a little bit of background on this project. We call it the Golfview Improvement Petition, mainly surrounding the Golfview Place. So the subdivision actually began construction in 1970, and when it was constructed, they used an existing agricultural tile as their outlet for the subdivision. And that tile was undersized. It was clay tile. It's aged at the time, and it's continue with the lack of maintenance has provided inadequate drainage to this area. The last parcel, and if you could go back, that'd be great. Thank you. And then, so the last parcel in this subdivision was actually developed in 2015. That is the place, 1111 Golfview Place. That was the address of the petitioner who filed the petition, Greg Richards, if you recall. Since then, he has moved out of the area and is no longer considered an affected landowner. Go ahead. So just some pictures now. These do show some flooding. So the top right picture shows flooding at the Thorn Apple Golf Course. We have the erosion at the outlet to Hamilton Ditch, as well as a lot of surface flow in the bottom right picture, as you can see. That picture is facing towards the house of the petitioner. Existing conditions, we have, as I stated before, inadequate drainage for homes and their home sewage treatment systems. So all of these properties within the watershed, we have 25 parcels, 22 of them have home sewage treatment systems. So going into just a project map of the area, now we do have this as Exhibit A in your packet as well for your reference. This is the watershed. It is about 22 acres, 25 parcels, along with rights-of-way owned by Brown Township and Franklin County. Each of the parcels have a number, and that's corresponding with the schedule of assessments that you have as Exhibit D. So as you can see from this, we have the yellow outline, which is the watershed, and then the blue line in the middle is the proposed improvement alignment. So this project, our plans for the proposed work included a surface soil grading and shaping, subsurface drain tile installation providing an adequate outlet for the road and home sewage treatment systems, and then a road culvert replacement at Cole Road. So we won't get into the full calculation of assessments, but the Franklin County has been directly assessed about $37,600 for work directly benefiting because it's within that Cole right-of-way for the road culvert replacement. So when we look at the total project estimate, we came to $323,739.65, and then subtracting that $37,600 is what was assessed to the property owners. So going through, we then, if you could just, next slide would be great. So as we've gone through before, we have the assessments, and each parcel in the watershed is assessed a portion of the cost for constructing and maintaining the improvement. That includes rights-of-way owned by local state governments, utilities, anything of that nature. And what we use to calculate these assessments are based on property size, percent of the system used, land use, and the benefits seen. And then the assessment rate are 2 semi-annual installments for up to 30 payments. That is a decision made by the board. And then there's the maintenance assessment tagged on with the Ohio Revised Code section, or chapter 6137. Now the assessment schedule is included as Exhibit D for your reference. Here's another picture of it. And we're just going to go through and, we have it broken down by the direct assessments and then the calculated assessments with a total construction assessment. And then also included is if it was broken down into 30 payments over the 15 years, what that would look like for each parcel as well. So some benefits that we've seen, we would see through the proposed improvement includes an increased value from the residential properties. So there is that surface flooding surface flow, overland flow that we mentioned earlier. So just in general, we're seeing that communities with a good drainage system tend to have higher resale values. Home sewage treatment systems, this one is big because 22 out of the 25 parcels in the watershed have home sewage treatment systems, and those need an outlet to function properly. If there's not an outlet for them, they can deteriorate the condition, and then as we've seen in the past, it's about $30,000 to replace the alternate sewage treatment system. And then, of course, we have the environmental considerations for this proposed improvement. Going back to the home sewage treatment systems, if those aren't functioning properly, this does outlet to Hamilton Ditch, which then goes into the Big Darby Creek. So definitely want to reduce the amount of sediment, nutrients, and bacteria entering and going to the Big Darby. And then overall, just a quality of life and positive neighborhood perception included with functioning drainage in the area. So we went through all of that, and I know that was fairly quick. But so when we did this project and we were finalizing everything, yes, we believe that this is technically feasible. We believe that it would serve the drainage and the drainage needs in the area, and it helps with our municipal separate storm sewer system requirements through the Clean Water Act with the Ohio EPA. However, when we went through and calculated those schedule of assessments, we didn't believe that the costs that the individual homeowners were seeing on their assessments that the benefits would outweigh those costs. And because of that, because 6131.21 states that the board shall set aside the former order to dismiss the petition if the cost of improvements will be equal to or greater than the benefits, we recommend that this petition be dismissed by the board. So That is our presentation. We can begin with any questions.
My colleagues have any thoughts or questions?
Do I have any questions?
I assume that the residents in the audience are pretty happy about their recommendation to dismiss.
Okay.
Everyone's, yeah, all right. The only comments I was just telling Commissioner Boyce, I think I told you guys back when we had this hearing back in 2021, I grew up relatively in this area. I grew up with families, went to school with families that lived in this neighborhood, the Dawes and Calvis and Salamone families. I don't know that any of them live there any longer, but I grew up with those families. And so I know the area very well. I played the golf course probably a couple hundred times in my life before I gave up the game. And so I know the area very well. Plus, I grew up west of here in Brown Township, and as the engineer knows and my colleagues know, dealt with a lot of drainage issues throughout the entirety of Brown Township throughout my life. So I know this stuff, and we as commissioners have been dealing with drainage issues more than we ever thought we would when we got elected county commissioners, all over Franklin County. So we understand this and understand your pain. So we are very happy that the recommendation to dismiss came before us today, and we're happy that you guys are happy about it. So, I guess with a recommendation or a motion by one of our colleagues,
Well, I think we still have to
Oh,
enter
sorry.
in evidence into the record and we're
Yes.
Correct. And so, Mr. President, if I may invite those testifying either for or against the petition who must either be an owner as identified in section 6131.01 of the revised code, or an attorney petitioning on behalf of an owner. So if there's anybody here who would like to provide testimony in favor of the petition, landowners in favor of the petition, now would be your time to come up and speak. Okay, seeing and hearing none, either online or in person. Next, we would like to hear testimony from all those landowners opposed to the petition. Yes. And prior to you providing the testimony, I will need you to raise your right hand for me, and I'll swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is true to the best of your knowledge? If so, say I do.
I do.
Thank you very much. If you could please state your first and last name and the address of where your parcel is.
Kimberly Grimm, and we're at 6810 Hardwood Drive. We've been there for 6, going on 7 years. We have never, our property backs up right to Greg's property, and we have never had any flooding, never. The year that happened, it was a one-off thing. It just came right down, it was, unexpected. It has not happened since. The people behind us, I don't know Greg's new owners, where he used to live. I don't know why they moved, but I don't believe it was because of flooding. From what I heard, they've never had that issue since they've been in the house. The house has resold. I don't know where the initial owner got permission to put in a swimming pool, a in-ground swimming pool, because that was deemed a once in a 100-year flood zone. And so he built a in-ground swimming pool anyway. So he should not have done that. So my thing is that we've got a grinder system. We have no problems with it. Nobody else in the neighborhood has any problems. Every single person on the north side of our street says the exact same thing. And what it's gonna do is it's just gonna tear up people's backyards for no reason. The one homeowner moved, Donna, she moved because it was, her whole backyard was gonna be destroyed after putting a new fence and everything in. So to me, this is just something that's disruptive. None of us have had a problem. I have my grinder looked at by the county every year. It gets a clearance, no problem, everything's good. You're talking about maintenance and keeping track of it. Isn't there maintenance and keeping track of the existing system going on right now? I mean, if there is, you should be able to see that so far there hasn't been any problems, except for the one-off time that happened. And it was devastating. But once again, he shouldn't have put in a ground pool. And he had been told he had to put his, septic system up because of the drainage, and he already knew all that. He is no longer there. So now the rest of us our taxes are $12,000 a year. So our taxes are gonna go up, even a little. That's hurtful. So I'm just saying, as far as I know, the rest of the neighbors, when I've spoke with, the majority of them, we don't not just want this, we don't need it. So, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Grin.
Are there any questions from the board? Okay. At this time, I'd like to invite Janine Hummer. Oh, I'm so sorry. Providing testimony. And did I swear you in when you were here
Yes,
previously?
yes, you
Okay.
did.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm
Please-
Gene Hubler. Good morning, Commissioners. I live on 1118 Golfview, which is right across the street from Greg's house. Hubler, Hubler. I'm number 19 on Abby's Exhibit A. I just wanted to confirm what everybody else is saying, and I'm happy that you guys are in agreement with the recommendation. Those pictures that you saw are, as she said, are a one-off picture. I've lived there over 30 years. I can count on one hand the number of times that that's probably happened in our area. And then the second thing I want to point out is the assessments that are being done. I understand that they're supposed to be to provide benefit and that you're paying upon the benefit, but what you don't see in the picture is I am the highest lot on that street. I don't perceive any flooding in my house or in my area, but yet I'm the one that's paying the most. I'm the one that's on the line is $15,000, which is double and even triple of some of the other occupants in the area. So I just wanted to point that out, that I don't perceive that value like they're saying in their recommendation, that benefit. And then third, I just wanted to again say thank you for listening to the homeowners, because that is important to us. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else here or online that would like to provide testimony? Okay. Seeing and hearing none, I'll turn it over to Janine Hummer.
Good morning, Commissioners. Janine Hummer, representing the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office and serving as your legal counsel. At this point in the hearing, since there's no further testimony, there should be a motion to admit any of the presentations that are exhibits I have presented to you. There will need to be a second and a vote on that.
Move to admit all presentations and exhibits provided by the engineer's office, as well as other testimony provided by residents into evidence.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce? Yes. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Thank you. The testimony and exhibits have been admitted.
Finally, Commissioners, at this point in the hearing, having heard the testimony and a report from the county engineer, it is important now for the board, by its motion, to provide guidance to the county engineer for the next steps. That being making findings that the board has determined that the proposed improvement is not necessary. It would not be conducive to the public welfare, and the board finds that the cost of the proposed improvement will be equal or more than the benefits. Based on those findings, moved by a motion to provide guidance to the engineer to prepare a formal resolution to deny the petition. It will require a second.
I move to provide the proposed guidance to the engineer to prepare a formal resolution to deny the petition.
Moved and seconded voting. Commissioner Crawley?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyce? Yes. Commissioner O'Grady?
Yes.
Thank you. The motion passes. And with that being said, that concludes our ditch petition hearing. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.